The idea of human flight is something that's been a part of me for a really long time. It's something that's ingrained in my consciousness. I get super psyched when I start to think about it. I dream about it all the time, pretty much every day. And I do my best to approach these endeavors with caution because I know they're super dangerous. It's something that requires your full attention and causes you to feel the emotion fear. I'm scared, but I love it. Let's get this day started. Get some coffee going. I'm gonna head on into the hangar and see what I can make happen here today. The mountains for me are something super special. To me, mountains are a temple. The closest thing I've ever had to a religious experience were those moments I shared with my friends in the mountains. I feel super lucky to be in the position I am. There's something magical about what's happening in this place and time. We're in an era of human flight, an era in which the reality of the human body flying across the sky is something that exists. Through being appreciative, I've found a sense of balance. I'm just going to take this life one day at a time and try to maintain this balance. How cool is it that it's possible to fly every day? Let's get this day started. How many of you have ever wished you could fly? Right on, me too. Picture a young, innocent childhood me, if you can. Here, I'll help you out with a slide. I'm having that dream again. It's that reoccurring dream in which I'm falling, tumbling head over heels through the air. Right before I hit the ground, I wake up. This dream is frightening. I fall back asleep. This time I'm running down a hill with my arms spread out wide. Soon I'm lifting like a bird and soaring the world with wings for arms. When I was a child, I used to have these two dreams all the time. I would often jolt awake from the vivid dream of falling with the fear of death, and then fall back asleep to surreal visions of flight through wild places. My whole life I've been searching for a way to turn my fear of falling into flying. Everyone has fear. Fear is a biological mechanism that's ingrained in our nature to help us survive. Fear response is triggered by the amygdala, two almond-shaped masses of nuclei located at the base of the brain. Amygdala activates our fight or flight reaction, which raises our heart rate, dilates our pupils, increases our metabolic rate, and also increases blood flow to the muscles. Essentially, fear gives us superpowers. So I make my living as a free-fall videographer, and recently some friends and I have been exploring something which we call Paralpinism. A Paralpinist is someone that climbs mountains and uses a magic backpack and a parachute to descend from the summits of the places in which Paralpinist climbs. This is a picture of me jumping from a mountain in Lauterbrunnen in Switzerland and deploying a base jumping parachute, which allowed me to safely land back down on the valley floor below. I make part of my living from Paralpinism by capturing these adventures on film. This summer I worked for a production called Liftoff, a TV series showcasing the adventurous lives of my good friend Niccolo Porcello, who's a professional wingsuit pilot, and my good buddy Yoki Summer, who's responsible for making wingsuit flying very popular on the internet. Now, Paralpinism is one of the most dangerous extreme sports. Just this past summer, my good friend and mentor, Dean Potter, and one of my best friends, Graham Hunt, both died in a double fatality accident in Yosemite National Park. They were attempting to clear a notch from an exit called Taft Point. It's just a sad thing for me. A hollow feeling settled in my heart because these two inspiring friends were they were leading the human flight rights movement in Yosemite National Park and were some of the best in the business. I was left mentorless, friendless, and alone. It wasn't just losing two people very special to me. Along with them fell my dreams, leaving me to question, should humans fly? Soon after this tragic event, I got invited to, that's a picture of Graham and me after we climbed the nose in a day. Actually, it took us about 10 hours to climb the nose, and then we flew. That's what we do. So soon after this tragic event, I got invited to run safety for the qualification of the World Wingsuit League in Gudvang in Norway. A major part of the preparation for this event was to make sure that the course was safe and to prove to the Voss City Council that Gudvangen was an acceptable location to hold a competition. Voss, Norway is the extreme sport capital of the world, and there's lots of world-class wingsuit pilots and human flight experts in the area. I was faced with a choice. Do I continue to pursue my dreams of human flight or not? We got together and we started plotting how we could hold such a competition. A few days before the event, we hiked up to the top of the mountain and dug a bunch of snow pits to check for avalanche risk. We brought snow shovels to the edge of the cliff and cleared as much snow and ice away from the edge as we could, and then fixed a line from the helicopter landing area down to the edge of the cliff so the competitors would be clipped in at all times while descending to the exit point. The day before the competition, we had to give the course a test flight to make sure that it had been flown that year. As I approached the edge, I could feel my fear response kicking in. And that day, with some relaxation and deep breaths, I jumped again. It was the first jump I had done since Dean and Graham's accident, and one which I'll remember for probably the rest of my life. The next day, we held a successful competition and did about 100 wingsuit jumps from the sparkling exit in Gudvang in Norway. I don't know if to continue jumping is right or wrong. Jumping from mountains is extremely dangerous. I know it, and the flying community knows it. I've been told my whole life that I take a lot of risk, but to be honest, I never really felt that rang true to my perspective of myself. However, I do hear those bits of feedback and understand, especially standing here today, after everything that's happened, why people might see that in me. I miss my friends deeply, and I'm very afraid of death. I don't know what happens after you die. It's an unanswerable question. I'm choosing not to waste precious time with that question, instead focus on what matters to me the most. Being present for every moment and feeling appreciation for the gift of life. For me, appreciation of all life's gifts is a path to clarity of mind and provides me with a sense of balance. It's from this balanced state of mind that I strive to make my decisions. I know the consequences of losing your balance. It's a confusing human struggle to be caught in the dichotic pole between risking too much and not risking enough. Risking too much can be, catastrophic, and not risking enough can also be the same. What I've learned through my life story is that balance is what keeps our ambition in check. I've also discovered that appreciation is often the catalyst to discovering what your personal balance is. I am nowhere near a perfect person, and up until this point, I've chosen to live a life exploring what I'm capable of with the perspective that it would be wasteful not to take advantage of everything human flight has to offer me. Through methodical, calculated risk assessment, slow organic exposure, and training, I found I can discover new boundaries of the human experience, face my fears, and live my dreams. This concept of balance is universal and doesn't just apply to Paralpinism and me. Everyone's story is different. Your story is unique to you as mine is to me. And what I've learned through my life story is that balance is what keeps our ambition in check. I've also learned that appreciation is often the catalyst to discovering your balance point. With the awareness that you have a choice to be appreciative, I encourage you to be appreciative, discover your personal balance point, push yourself to discover who you are, your limits, your passions, and when it's time for you to be courageous. With a clear, balanced mind, we can approach risk with confidence and achieve our optimum potential. Thank you very much.